End of academic freedom, University of Hong Kong to fire pro-democracy activist and law professor Benny Tai.
Here's a summary of the article.
Hong Kong pro-democracy activist Benny Tai is to be fired for misconduct by the University of Hong Kong, where he is currently serving as an associate law professor. Undergraduate representative of the council Nathaniel Lay told the press after the meeting that he was enraged by the decision. It was a blatant trampling of academic freedom and the autonomy of the university. It marks the end of academic freedom in Hong Kong. Academic staff in education institutions in Hong Kong are no longer free to make controversial statements to the general public about politically or socially controversial matters. Academic institutions in Hong Kong cannot protect their members from internal and outside. He said he was grateful to HKU and heartbroken to witness its demise. I will continue my research and teaching on the rule of law in another capacity. My fight for Hong Kong's rule of law also will not stop. I have the confidence to see the rebirth of a free HKU in the future. In a press release later on Tuesday, the University of Hong Kong said it had resolved a personnel issue concerning a teaching staff member. HKU Council is the governing and management body of the university, and its members include 6 members who are appointed by the institution's chancellor, Hong Kong's chief executive. Correction 2130. This article was corrected to reflect that Tai is an associate law professor, not an assistant law professor.
This post received a score of 26,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Hong Kong is becoming an empty vessel. It is rapidly losing the features that differentiate it from the Chinese mainland.
That's the plan.
Then the West need to cut all ties to it, and only offer its citizens pathways to citizenship and then call it a day.
That's the future. It's only so long until firewalls go up worldwide and every country has their own internet, apps and electronics.
And how do you propose stopping people from accessing external networks? I don't know if you know this, but China's firewall is very easy to bypass.
It's because they only block certain traffic. They could do the opposite and only allow certain traffic, but that would be a problem for many Chinese companies and a lot of work to document where you are allowed to access. But it's doable if someone wants to really cut itself from the rest of the world.
It's not doable if that certain someone wants to enjoy the economic benefits of globalization and the open internet. It's not a worthwhile policy for any global superpower.
Exactly. It's a short-sighted power grab. Globalization isn't going to wait for those countries that force their citizens to remain in ignorance.
I like this statement.
As a fellow academic, this is sad news. Academic freedom, much like journalism, will always be under threat from authoritarian regimes. It's all part of the need to control the narrative.
Yeah, the universities in Hong Kong are already controlled by the CCP and its pro-CCP anti-democracy academics.
False. I go to HKU, and while this is sad, we still have a statue called the Pillar of Shame which commemorates the Tiananmen Square massacre. We are under pressure, but we'll make it.
That statue won't last more than a couple of years.
Remind me. 5 years, is that statue still up?
Remind me. 5 months, please let me be surprised that it's still standing, future self.
Bring him here. We need him.
Being fired by the CCP is basically a glowing endorsement in every other country.
I would be more worried about it being a death sentence.
Hong Kong in name alone, I'm afraid.
Thanks to the world not giving a shit when they needed it.
The world gave plenty of shits, but what were they going to do? Invade?
World governments could have tried applying actual political and economical pressure to China. The kind that they would actually feel and care about.
The world is hypocritical, favors the rich, and filled with corrupt leaders that didn't make this happen when it should've. But same can be said about every major FKN event of the past 100 years. So often governments have stood by watching the poor get stepped on and lose any human rights they thought they had. Our world acts like it's in the modern age of civility and education, but the truth is that our attitudes haven't changed since humanity first inscribed hieroglyphics in walls. We've gotten taller with bigger heads.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.